Hey guys, welcome back to Wordplay Wednesdays by AA. We are now on episode 9. So I'm Chai as always. I'm here with my amazing co-hosts, Nike and Weewo.
Hello,
What's up?
what's
What's up?
up? Let's go.
Okay, so today we're doing something a little bit different and honestly, something very close to my heart. So we're talking a lot about writing in this podcast. And sometimes people think that you need to be famous or you need to be a full-time author, full-time poet to have a voice. But our mission today and every day at AA really is to prove that anyone can write. So we want to show that ordinary people like us living everyday lives have extraordinary stories inside them. So today we brought in a regular person, but if you know her like I do, you know she's anything but. She's an old dear friend of mine from our college days at UA&P, and she's the one who taught me how to appreciate good Gregorian music, among others. And I also found it so fascinating to meet someone who was as much into thrillers and serial killers as I was, still am, without it being creepy. Because I met a lot of other people who are into that, but are creepily into that. But anyway,
Yay.
moving on, we survived those years together, and now she is out in good old Straya, thriving and surviving the corporate marketing world. But here's the kicker. I'm gonna reveal it early on in this episode. Before she even stepped foot in UA&P, she had already written and published a book called Keeping Her in the Light. It's a wildly intense story about a woman who develops Stockholm Syndrome. If you're unfamiliar, it's a psychological response where hostages or abuse victims develop a sense of familiarity, dependency, empathy towards their oppressor, their captor, as a survival mechanism. And I knew from then on that this was a girl I want to be close with. So, enough to that. Please welcome my friend, the brilliant Nicole Fuentes.
Hello, Nicole.
Hey,
Welcome.
what's up?
So, Nick, it's so good to see you. Nike, well, we were just saying offline how weird it would be to catch up verbally on this platform in a podcast episode. We haven't really seen each other in over 10 years. 10, 11, 12. So let's rewind a bit. Nicole and I met in 2010. That was our first year in college. And I still think about the fact that you wrote a book before UA&P, and it's about really heavy matters. So really heavy for someone that young. And I know you've already told me this before, but for the benefit of Nike and Wo and also our listeners, where did that even come from? Or were you just really intense as a teenager? I mean, I know the answer to that, but of course, I'll let you go ahead.
I don't really even remember where anything comes from. So with that specific one, I think it was just an idea. Like usually when I write, I don't have an outline. I don't even know what's going to happen. And that's why I continue to write so that I eventually get to the end of the story. And it's like, I have that closure of what the story is all about and how it's ending. So for that book, the novella, I think I just wanted, like, the idea that I had in my head was just, okay, what if someone wakes up in a dark room and then starts feeling her way out of that room, and then her hand hits the light switch, and when the lights turn on, she sees that she's in a room full of like dead people, basically, right? So from there, it's like, okay, what happens next? So I was like, okay, I have nothing much to do. I mean, in high school, you have a lot of free time. So I'm like, okay, I'll see where this goes. So after that, I was just like, okay, and then what if she finds that she can exit the room, and then she actually exits the room, and then she sees her captor. What happens then? Like, what's the interaction like between the two? And so like when I come up with stories like that, or maybe like the reason that I do like um, thrillers or anything that has to do with, I guess, the relationship between captor and captive. It's because I want to see what the interaction is between the two. Like when you're watching a movie, you don't, and you know, with that kind of relationship, you don't really see much of what goes on between the two. It's mostly like a cause and effect thing, or it's very, you know, like plot driven. So for me, I was like, okay, I want to explore this relationship. What would they talk about? How would someone develop Stockholm syndrome as a result? And then it just like the story just kept on going until it was like 100 pages na. And then when I finished it, I was like, okay, it's done. I might as well see if I can find anyone who's willing to publish it. And so I found like a Canadian based publisher that does like print on demand publishing. So I went for them, they accepted me. And then, yeah, like I was 16, 17, and I didn't really care much about like the marketing of it. Or, I mean, we got it into fully booked for a while. And then like I don't even know like how many we sold or anything like that. It's not like I had the whole team with me. It was just me and my dad. But it was enough for me to like buy a laptop for university, for UA&P.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty much it. Like when I write, it's just really I don't have an outline. I start with an idea that I find interesting, and then it just develops from there.
Wow. That how do you do that? I'm reacting like this because that's not how I work. Like everything that I have to write on paper has to be completed in my head.
Yeah.
When we had the last episode with X, that's his writing process as well, right? He says that it's
Yeah.
already finished in his head. He just needs to do the clerical work. I'm now very curious how you do it. Is it like there's a flow inside of
Yeah.
you? Like, yeah, okay.
Especially when I was younger, it was just like free flow. I guess the younger I was, the more I didn't really care about what other people thought. And then when I published, that's when it started slowing down, because I had people come up to me say, and you know, they'd say, I didn't know that your mind was like that. I'm a bit scared of you now. And then, you know, like someone always has something to say. And then that just, for me, it slowed my work down. It slowed down the words, it slowed down the flow. And then I just got annoyed with writing altogether. So my relationship with writing has been on and off. It's just recently that I'm like, okay, I'm going to start writing again. And I'll start with poetry. I'll start with poems. But yeah, it's just free flow. I don't know where the words come from half the time.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's why I continue to write, because it's like I like this feeling of the flow. And then it's also why I get frustrated when I write and there is no flow. Like when the flow isn't there, it's just the most frustrating thing in the world. And I just wanna give up and never write again. But when it's there, it's the best feeling ever.
I can someone understand that a bit because when I play basketball, I feel the same way too, but not in writing. Like when you play a sport, there's nothing structured or very little structured. You go with the flow. That's how you learn it. So, but
Yeah.
I would say to those people no, who said that your mind is like that and I'm a bit scared of you, don't listen to them. They don't understand shit. Like I find your brain absolutely fascinating.
Oh, thank you. Most of it, like because I also started writing for the stage when I was in college. And I started directing a bit. And so one of the plays that I wrote, which then the Theater Titas, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but they picked it up and they somehow got EP09 to act it out. And he was the killer in that play. So it's a two-person play about a girl who's lost, and then a killer finds her, and that girl is his next victim, basically. Well, that one I got it from a dream. So I get a lot of things, and in the poem that I'll read to you guys later, which is the one that you published in your Instagram, that one was like the offspring of two different dreams that I just stitched together. So you were talking about how there's no structure. Like you can't, like with sport, there's no structure. So, everything's flowing. With me, I like adding structure to the chaos. So the flow for me is adding that structure in. So like I have,
Oh,
and somehow I see that there's a point and that there's a similarity with the two dreams, and that's how I put it together. And that act of putting it together is the flow for me. That's what, like, it just happens. I don't know how. I just see the connection and then I write about it.
you're the first person. That's why I like talking to people and asking them questions because I want to know how their brain works. And in this podcast, that's what I enjoy the most. Learning how their brain works. I absolutely find that fascinating. First time I'm hearing about it.
There have been some writers that I don't remember who anymore, but like, you'd see quotes, and then you'd see like writers just saying that that's how they write as well. Like it just flows. I think like Vladimir Nabokov is like that. That yeah, it's so I guess there are like some writers where it just flows, and then there are some writers like I guess like X where it's very structured. Like they need to have like a whole outline before they can start writing. For me, if I had an outline before I started writing, I wouldn't write anymore because I'd be so bored because I know how it's gonna end.
I feel like it's gonna be difficult then, kasi when you write with an outline, it feels. I don't know if you would feel the same way, but I feel like you'd feel boxed because the
Yeah.
outline is already there. You already know where it's going, so it's like I don't have the leeway to change it up a little bit anymore because the flow is already there and it looks perfect. So there's not much room.
Yeah.
I think
Go
this is the perfect time to pivot to the main event. Before we dive deeper into your thought process when you write. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
yeah.
Nick, that you brought a piece of your writing to share with us today. So without giving too much away, I just wanted to check if do you want to set the stage for us before you read it, like any additional context that you want to share with us, or do you want to go ahead and talk about it afterwards?
Maybe I'll talk about it afterwards because I want to see what your reactions are and what you thought about it without me, putting anything in your minds or preempting you guys.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
So this one is Mercy Enduring. It's that time of the year when the sun sets too early and darkness creeps in the mind unauthorized too soon. I leave work when the desks are all empty, humbled by the fear of a life measured in coffee spoons. Connecting the nothingness of something with the nothingness of nothing. Listening for the nightingale, looking out for the fireflies, wishing to hear anything but. Jug, 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 twit, 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 remembering nothing except Rat's Alley. What the thunder said without relief of rain. Last night I created death in my sleep, and pushing pulled it out of me. Swaddled in its, or was it mine, translucent shell of an armor, useless, in its defense, gone, without a fight. Who knew death could be so small, so still, so peaceful? I woke up to a handful of dust. Roaming the wilderness turned barren, the serval loses itself, moving like the caracal, hostile for survival, raging at the sun, destroying everything that's left. At night, her world ends with a whimper. Trembling, she lays with the dead, crawling into their wounds. In the morning, her surgical rage for a heart is renewed. The dust spreads like a disease soon. All the children are dying. Mothers feed themselves to the caracal. Fathers lose themselves hunting it down. This multiplied the world over. I am left singing their children to sleep. Love and grief for what is not mine persists. I have only my love to give. Sibling children have only their love for each other before their time comes. I bury them all in the dust. I wait for my time to come. I clock in. I measure the dust in spoons. I clock out. I hear the thunder. I pray for rain. I pray for lightning. I pray the caracal comes for me. She does not. So I come for her and find her burrowed in a mother's womb, crying. Nightingales and fireflies combust around us. The sun has set too early.
Together we tremble, waiting for the sun. Leaving the womb, she climbs into my arms. I tell her I have nothing left to give. She tells me she has nothing else to kill. Before my eyes, her shape shifts, and I see the serval she once was. Before her eyes, I do the same. For what feels like the first time in years, we surrender. To sleep, we go, gentle into that good night, tired of rage grieving. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not so good with organizing my thoughts in real time. That's why I like writing.
I'm the same.
But just on the last part of the poem you shared, it reminds me of something that you also introduced to me. If I'm not mistaken, it was you who introduced that to me. Did you pull that from "Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night, Rage, Rage Against the Dying of the Light"?
Yeah, I
It was
reversed
an
it.
inspiration.
Yeah,
And
but then I reversed it.
I don't know. I guess
That
just
was
to
good.
share my initial thoughts about it, it felt like at the beginning, a person, an ordinary person with an ordinary life, and then it's become so. I don't know. This is how I felt. It's become so monotonous. The life that that person is living. That eventually, it's like he or she is looking for the chaos. He's waiting for the chaos to come, but it's not coming. So ventures out. He or she ventures out and goes ahead and looks for it. I don't know. Am I close?
Ish, ish. I'll go through it after everyone gives their thought.
Because I mean, it reminds me of this question I wanted to ask you too. You work in corporate now, and you know, I don't know if you do a lot of writing in your day job. You live a busy life there in Sydney. How do you reconcile your identity as a regular working professional with your identity as a writer? Like, do those two worlds ever meet? Or do you have to force yourself to make time for writing? Do you find that there is just so much structure, too much structure, that you're looking for that chaos?
So there, I mean, the company that I was with when I wrote this, was chaotic. So I wasn't really looking for chaos. But in terms of like identity, I try as much as possible to be creative with what I do. It's just hard in the industry that I worked in. It was hard to bring in that creativity because there were it was a heavily regulated industry. But where I could add creativity, I would. It would just mostly get rejected because it was like not feasible to do it without breaking some rules. So what I'd have to do is, I mean, during that time, I really couldn't, I couldn't write because everything was chaotic. I wasn't feeling too good about where I was. And then, you know, by the time you're done with work, and I was working overtime a lot as well. And then by the time I'm done with work, you kind of just like, I didn't want to write, you know, like I just wanted to rest and that's it. So I didn't really write until I got made redundant from that job because the industry was declining massively. So they let go of a lot of people and they're still continuing to let go of a lot of people now. And then that's when I kind of spiraled down and I realized when I didn't have a job, like I realized that I depended on the job to give me some sort of structure to my day. And without that job, it's like I had so much freedom that it destroyed me, if that makes sense. Like I could
Yeah,
just
yeah,
rot
yeah.
all day and not, and it just, you know, it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. And it's like you're not really living. And then you're kind of helpless because the job market's pretty tough. Yes, I was just spiraling down, and then it was actually writing again that saved me. So writing this poem is kind of like what saved me. And I was like, okay, I need to bring back structure into my day. So, you know, do the job applications. And then once that's done, go out and read a bit and then write. So that became kind of like my new schedule while I didn't have a job.
Okay.
And then now that I have a job again,
The thing is, it's not as chaotic as my previous job. So I do have time to write once a week. So when I write now, it's not like it's going to be like this poem that I just like. There are good days and there are bad days. So, but I just try to make sure that I will always write at least like once a week. And then some of those aren't really good poems, and so I don't post them. It's just the good what I consider to be good poems that I do post.
Okay. Chai, thank you for asking that question because it gave me time to gather my thoughts. I don't know kung nakita mo yung like, kasi to be honest, yung poetry mo, I think I need to read it more than once to be able to understand it. Ang nakuha ko sa kanya sa first, sa pagbasa mo is it's like to me, I might be wrong here, but it's like to me, you're seeking death. You want one-on-one time with death. Am I on the right page? Yeah? Or is it, or medyo malayo ba?
It's like, so that part is, I'm just looking at the poem here in my phone. The part where she goes after the caracal because everyone is dying, basically. She then, except her. So she then wants to go to the caracal so that she herself can die. But then what she finds is something else. Like they both find themselves in each other, and they don't find, like she went after the caracal looking for death, but what she found instead was peace. And I don't think the two have to be one and the same.
As yung sinabi niya kasi that she was seeking for death, but instead she found peace. It kind of reminds me of someone who's a soldier. I had a friend na soldier siya, US soldier siya. And he told me na nung nasa Middle East siya, he doesn't care if he wants to die. Pero people around him are dying sa mga IEDs, mga rocket launches, yung mga helicopter na dapat niyang sakyan, dinump off siya ng isang officer, sumakay daw siya sa next helicopter. And then that helicopter was hit by a missile. So he was able to survive because he had this mindset that he's not afraid to die. And because he's not afraid to die, he was peaceful there. And he also told me, those who aren't afraid to die, according to the Bible, they get to live more. So I don't know if that's somehow relevant to what you just said, but maybe you seeking death gives you peace. I mean, kind of it really makes sense to me right now.
Yeah, it was more of like she was looking for death because everyone around her was dying. But then when she did go after the thing that basically killed everyone, she sees something in that animal, and she sees herself in that animal. And then there's like this moment of clarity and this connection that those two then share that I can't really like explain, I guess. I don't know how to put it in words because it's already there. Like those are the words in the poem. But it's just, it's that moment. Like if you like try to imagine it, like the two of them, like at the face off kind of thing. And they're just face to face with each other. And they're like, okay, what are you? It's either you kill me or I kill you, right? What now? But then instead, like they like she sees that animal is hurting. And that animal is a wounded self that also wounds other people. And then she realizes that could be her as well, that she's the same. They mirror each other. And then it's that understanding that they have for each other that brings peace. To be kind of like, we don't have to keep raging on. We can stop whatever rage we have inside, whatever grief we have inside, and finally find peace in this understanding.
Siguro I'll just add something. Kasi like Weewo said, I think I have to go through it again a couple of times for me to get the whole full picture. Okay? But I just have to say, the words that you used, something got to me. The line wherein fireflies combusting. That's you said something in those lines, right? Okay. siguro, if I were to put it in words, parang I felt something close to gentle rage.
I was gonna say that like the common comment among the three of you is that like you need more time to read. I guess focus more on what it made you feel.
Feel. I think I choose the word somber. At least to me.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't know why, but it felt peaceful yet chaotic. It was chaotic, but it was peaceful to me.
That's good.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That's
what I want.
essentially how I felt. If we're talking
Yeah.
about pure feelings, that's essentially how I felt.
Yeah.
It was somber in a good way.
Yes. Yeah. Like I like those like mixing things that shouldn't be mixed
Yeah.
together. You know, like it feels heavy, but it doesn't feel like it's
It's
like everything's in a state of despair.
Yeah.
Like there is that peace and that redemption. And I think like that's why people usually think of me as like a pessimist or, you know, someone negative or whatever. But then I don't see myself as negative. I see myself as I see the reality of things. I see how bad things can be. But there is moments or there are moments of tenderness where you don't expect it to be.
I just want to say how you used certain words, and you just now sinabi mo na you want to mix words na doesn't really belong to each other. So I tend to do that then. And yes, people will see you as pessimist, somebody na negatron, things like that. So not really. Actually, it's you find
That's-
beauty in it. You find beauty in it pa nga eh. Like, diba? Kasi in order for you to use something negative, mix it with another negative, you find something in that negative na maganda eh, na something you can connect it to the other one. So, that's
Thank you,
beautiful
Nike.
then for me. So, one point lang then, I was saying kanina, gentle rage. Especially when you said na, sorry, nag-stick lang talaga sa akin that the picture that you painted na fireflies combusting. That's
Yeah.
beautiful for me. Kasi, I don't know, a firefly. Imagine a firefly. Like, it's this tiny, right? Tapos combusting. Imagine hundreds of them, 50 of them, million of them. Fireworks na siya, technically. So, alam mo yun, if you look at it like that, wow siya. But yun lang, it's just how you use certain words. And yes, medyo parang nagre-revolve siya around death. But just to share something, my friend, a very good friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, recently lost his mom. So we don't really get to talk every day like we used to, like you and Shai. So recently, I randomly messaged him lang. I told him na, yo, let's hang out, let's grab a drink. And then she told me nga, her mom passed away. So I just told her na I can't pretend na I know how it feels. But, you know what? I'm gonna read to you what I said. Just because you used the concept of death, medyo I find it intriguing the idea of death. So here's what I said. I can't say anything to make it seem like I know how it feels. I'm not that type. But if I were to say anything, I'd say that you wear death like a fucking bulletproof vest. Garner strength from it, let it protect you from others, and protect it from yours. Protect from yourself. See you soon, bossing. That's what I said. So, just to double down on the idea that yes, there is peace in death. So, I agree with it 100%.
The effect I want on the reader is not really that like for them to get it like 100% right on the 1st read. It's something that I want them to keep coming back to, but to just because of the emotion that they end up feeling as a result of the poem. Yeah. And the images as well, which you did with the nightingales and the fireflies combusting. Like, you know,
Exactly.
you imagine their face, they finally approach each other and interact with each other. And then you have, you know, the fireflies combusting around the nightingales. And it's kind of like apocalyptic, but in a beautiful way.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I can imagine it na in a movie setting. Like everybody suddenly goes like slow-mo, HD na fireworks. Ang
Parang
ganda.
crazy.
I love it. I love it.
It's
I love that
fascinating.
concept.
Pero I just
And then, oh,
Nike
go.
mentioned that the image that stayed with him were the fireflies combusting. On my end, the image that stayed with me was like a girl walking through a dark forest, the medyo purplish, dark blue, and then black. And the second one would be bodies, dead bodies all around, like an aftermath of a war. How about you,
Yeah.
Weewo? What was that image na that lingered after hearing that piece?
Kung okay lang ba sa niya if I may ask a couple of selfish questions. Para lang, for me, it's not for ano, yeah. But based sa mga sinabi mo kanina, Nicole, it seemed like you grew up in a very stable and healthy family.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Like the way that we were raised was to not see death as anything bad. That, when someone close to us passes away, it's obviously you grieve, but it's not like a bad thing. Sometimes death is a severe mercy. I'm just borrowing that from a book called The Severe Mercy, where like it's about this couple where the wife passes away, and the husband refers to her passing away as a severe mercy on their love, because then that means their love is then endless. Like it could have ended in through divorce, but instead it ended because she passed away due to cancer, whatever. Yeah, and it's just like the way I guess the teachings of my parents is not too idealistic and not too despairing as well. Like they had a good mix of like, this is reality. Like life isn't fair. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I asked that question kasi most of the people I don't know why, most of the people I associate with are somehow broken inside. That's why I love speaking with writers. They write about something that broke them, right? They write about their experience. You're the first one I'm meeting sa entire life ko who's stable and who is able to to hold two opposing ideas at the same time. I found that sa mga taong nakakausap ko, it's hard to do that. It's either may dadaanan muna silang matindi experience and then that experience gives them wisdom para
Yes.
mahawakan yung dalawang experience at the same time. And so this is the first time I'm seeing someone na stable, pero I guess that stability allowed you to I gave you the luxury to experiment and to see things from both sides and then hold them as one.
Yeah.
Nasa tamang ba ako? Yeah, okay, sige. Continue, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ability gave me like, I guess, the breadth of imagination. Because then I could
Yes.
continue to imagine how bad things could be and what that effect would be on me without actually experiencing it. Plus the empathy, if I do have empathy or sympathy.
That's actually where my question was going. I mentioned a while ago that I would let Nike finish his question and then I'll ask mine. That's where I was going. As we were mentioned, a lot of people write based on their feelings, their experiences. You write based on the ideas that you have in your head. Random ideas. Some are from dreams or some just come out of the blue. So I'm going to try to articulate this as best as I could. Why do you write? Do you write to figure out how
Exactly.
you feel? Do you write because you already know how you feel and you need to get it out? Why do you write?
I write because it makes me, like it gives me life. And it helps to structure whatever chaos I have inside in terms of my thoughts. And then, of course, I mean, like, I don't have any trauma, but of course, like, obviously, I do feel some sadness. Some things make me sad, some things make me unhappy. I think I'm I have a very short temper and I tend to get mad. I'm just very impatient. Like, it's not like, I do have flaws and vices or whatever. But then, like, writing saves me from that. Or it's not so much a release. Like, I don't like it when I write and it's all just like rage and
Yeah.
just too much negativity. Like, I feel like it's very self-serving to do that, and it doesn't result in anything worth worth publishing or worth sharing. Like, I'll write stuff like that just to like maybe let it out, but I'm never gonna share it to anyone. And I've had there are times that like I'll go back to my writing from when I was in college, and it's very like cringy for me because it's so emo, and it's like I had no right to be that emo when I was younger, you know? Yeah, but like that's the only way that I can describe it now, that I write because it makes me feel alive. It gives me that dopamine hit, and it helps me see things clearly.
That's why we're friends.
Is it the same din ba for you?
Yeah. I mean, among other things, yeah. It's
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I felt it when you said that it makes you happy. It does. Because for me, sometimes it's a release. But most times it just makes me feel happy and content. And I don't know. It's an escape in a way, but not really to escape the world
Yeah, I get
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, may gusto ko itanong na isa. Kanina pa siya nandito sa back of my head. Would you say that writing is a way for you to explore some emotion that you never feel firsthand? Some experiences that you never feel like in real life? That's why it makes you happy, because you feel those things, but you don't have to go through the pain and the experience. Yeah, kasi like, doon lang nagme-make sense sa utak ko yun.
That plus, like, after I wrote this poem, like it just felt so heavy for me that I had to go and take a walk. So it's not necessarily that like I want to experience that kind of heaviness. It's just that it's that act of creating something outside of you that makes me feel alive. And so, like, I had another poem that I wrote where it's about marriage and how eventually, like, you live with it where in the back of your head it's like, oh, the person that you really really love is eventually gonna die, might even die ahead of you. And so writing that, like, I felt sad, obviously, but then I realized that, I mean, everyone will die. And so what matters then is, those small moments where you have that connection with that person and your relationship proves to be fruitful and you leave behind legacy.
I'm sorry.
You're so healthy.
Wow. Oh nga, wow. I'm just saying.
Kahit anong bakit gagawin ko sa kanya bukas. Kanina ka pa tinatry eh.
I mean, I have to just say this. I keep repeating myself. I really enjoy our conversations. This is why we're friends. I mean, you're right. Well, I have never met anyone prior to Nicole who has lived such a stable, happy life who can write really well. Because most of the people that I know who write are pulling from their own experiences, their own traumas. And I'm sorry, I can't help but express my emotions right now. I really miss talking to I really miss But my question is what emotion is the easiest for you to write? And which one feels like pulling teeth?
The easiest for me is, it's not so much an emotion, but it's like writing about struggling and then eventually finding peace after that struggle. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, okay, there's nothing for me that's easy to write. Like, it's just, it's, for me,
The most comfortable.
it's, it's difficult to write. The most, okay, the thing that I cannot write about is something super personal. Because just as I'm writing it, I'm just like, this is no good. I just, like, it's just not good. It's just me ranting. It's like a diary entry, a journal entry. So like, why am I doing this? And I don't like going back to them and reading them as well. Like it's just full of, it's full of scary things as well. And me talking down on myself, at least the ones from college. But then, yeah, I grew out of that. And yeah, so it's the easy, so it's not so much like an emotion that makes it easy for me to write or easier. It's seeing the concepts align, seeing the connection. Once I see the connection, it's like all go. Like that aha moment. That's what makes it easier. But I like without that aha moment, it's like me just writing and then seeing what happens as a result of it. Sometimes, like most of the time, it's gonna be a miss if I do it that way. That's why I need to start with that aha moment. And it's like, so for example, like when you're like the way that it makes you see life as well is very different when you write versus when you don't write. It's the same way as like, because I do a bit of painting. My mom does a lot of painting. And the way she sees the world, like she sees it all through colors. So like when she sees like a tree, you know, to us, we're just like, it's just a green, you know, like it has green leaves. That's it, right? But to her, she sees like different colors of green, different shades of green. She sees the shadow and then she feels happy and then she wants to paint that. So for me, but that's the thing, like the way her mind works is she's always on the lookout for something to paint. Me, the way my mind works is I'm always on the lookout for something to write. And I like writing about things that are beautiful and that persist despite the ugliness of the world. And so that's for me like a healthy way to reorganize my mind so that I'm always looking for something good in everything. Yeah.
Like,
Ang galing.
you mentioned
Ang
yung
galing, ang galing.
writing process.
Yeah, go ahead, boss.
Oh, wala may gusto. Ayan, sige. Ang sinabi niya kasi yung writing process niya, magko-connect siya ng ideas and then antayin niya yung aha moment. Doon siya magsisimula. Pero kapag nagsulat siya ng personal experience niya, nakikringehan siya. Right? Yung writing process mo ba like reverse nun?
Okay, how do I answer that? Siguro, I guess. I agree with the cringy part. I agree 100%. Like, I can't believe I wrote such things like when I go through it again. Like, what the fuck? I really wrote this. So, but, there's, siguro, like, with what I said, na what captured me with your writing is the use of your words. So the same thing with me. I like using complex words. It's words that I don't have a fucking clue about. And then I try to be honest, it doesn't like, it's not the idea na it makes me look smart. Actually, it's the complete opposite. I like using it kasi I'm fucking stupid I don't even know how to use it, diba? So I try to use it, I understand it. That's just me. Pero certain words, certain drama words, like certain emo, when you said emo, but medyo ganun medyo may angle ako about it na siguro when you said na nakikita mo yung struggle and then you enjoy the idea of the win with the struggle na yun, one word comes to mind, it's just perseverance. So if you can articulate it in a certain way and in my case, use certain words na either romanticize it or strengthen it. So that's how I guess I write. That's how, I mean, I haven't been writing as deep as I should or as technical as I should. I've been enjoying it lang. My everyday life. Ako naman siguro yung complete opposite with what you're saying. I don't do diaries, but I do like notes with the things I've seen. Especially, I'm in a place now na medyo alien ako dito. I don't really know this area. Farming trips ako ngayon eh. So, things like that. I take note of that. Parang yun na yung pinaka-journal ko. So, sorry, I'm babbling. To answer Kwiwo's question, yes, I think it's the complete opposite for me.
That's
Without
okay. I mean,
trying.
it's
Ganon din
different
ba
for
experience mo? Yeah, yeah. Ganon din ba experience mo? Same with Nicole or complete opposite?
Uh, so difficult to answer that because I don't have one specific way of writing. I write about my experiences or based on my experiences, but I also um can relate to Nicole's thought process of having an idea, a random idea that doesn't have an direct relativity to anything that happened in my life, and then I'll write about that. So that's why it's a bit difficult for me to answer your question. I am probably the messiest person you can talk to. Like, my thoughts are messy. The way I write is messy. And that's why I write. Because I want to be more organized. And as you may have noticed with our episodes, I wanna make sure that there's structure. That's why I write. That's why I like organizing things. I mean, I guess I like organizing because I'm so messy as a person. And that's what makes writing something so essential to me. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
Yeah. I think you did. Like, yung mga listeners dyan, kung gusto nyo rin, like, share with us kung paano kayo nagsusulat, anong thought process nyo. Hit us up sa comment section before kami bumalik kay Nicole.
This has been an incredible conversation, and I'm sure that every one of you, or nagyayabang lang ako because I feel like it was an incredible conversation. But
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
found it
everyone
incredible too. Nag-enjoy ako sa kanya. Parang
Right?
rare animal sa akin. Rare Pokemon. Pero siyang rare Pokemon sa utak ko.
Special Pokemon.
Cole, when you
Exactly.
come back here, Philippines, I hope you can join us since you'll likely be in Parañaque at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe you could join us one of the nights that we're gonna go out.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
then before we let you go, I just have a question. If your writing could leave exactly one lingering feeling with our listeners, with the readers of your piece after they finish this episode, what would you want that feeling to be?
Which is linked with peace. It's also linked with everything will be okay. Kind of like the bahala na mentality. I actually saw a post earlier earlier today. Yeah, today. That the whole bahala na to us, like the way that we Filipinos see it, is different to how the Western people see it. Because like the Western people, when we say bahala na, or we explain to them what bahala na is, or that mentality that we have of bahala na, for them it's like, oh, you're just giving your agency to someone else. Like you're just saying that, like you don't want to take accountability for anything that's going to happen. But to us, it's more of like, we've done our part. And we have this, I guess, like this optimism that things will work out. And even if it doesn't work out, there's still something good that you can get from it. Yeah. So I think that, which is, goes hand in hand with abandonment, goes hand in hand with redemption, with peace. Yeah. That's what I want.
I envy your mindset. It's so stable, so healthy, and it's so mature. Maingit siya. Puta. Napapanawa ako sa kung paano ka-healthy itong taong to.
I don't know.
I couldn't agree more. That's why it's really healthy keeping a lot of people around you who are different from you, but still similar on some level. So
Yeah.
thank you again, Nicole. Thank you so much for letting us invite you to this episode. I think it's a busy time for you on a weekday. And at 9 p.m. right
Yeah.
now?
10
10.
now.
10 now in Sydney.
Perfect to have a
Thank you so
drink.
Exactly.
We are
Exactly.
promoting to who are listening. We are not promoting drinking. Let's do it offline. Gusto ko yung si Weewo was stumped kasi ang healthy ng mindset ni Nicole. Ang healthy
There's
ng
always
life
a
niya.
first.
I know!
Mhm.
But yeah, thank you so much, Nicole, Weewo, Nike, for this episode. I really had fun. And I missed you, Nicole. Pwede ko naman tanggalin sa ano. But,
Chat more calls.
yes, we should. And please lock in our schedule na for
Yes.
the next time you come
When
here.
I go there. Yep, for sure.
Thank you so much. And yes.
Yeah.
And also to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 9. Remember that you don't need to be extraordinary or to be famous to have a story worth telling. You don't need to experience anything extraordinary to tell a story. So just keep writing. Keep putting your messy human feelings on the page or ideas on the page. And most importantly, stay articulate, stay anonymous, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.